mansion here this morning and to the state of the city. I'm Kathy Biederman, Economic Development Director for the City of Painesville, and we are excited to be here today to hear City Manager Monica Irelan Dupee talk a little bit about updates on the city and what we can look forward to going forward into 2020. I would first like to take a moment to introduce some of our elected officials and community leaders. If you would please stand briefly while I introduce you. Our first is Lake County Commissioner Jerry Serino. Also Lake County Commissioner John Hamerchuk. From Painesville Municipal Court, Judge Paul Malchevsky. Lake County Sheriff Frank Leonbruno. We have joining us Fairport Harbor Village Administrator Amy Kosick. Our President of Lake Erie College, Brian Posler. Superintendent of Painesville City Schools, Josh Engelhardt. And Painesville City Local Schools Board President, Kathleen Donnelly. And then joining us from Painesville City Council, we have Vice President of Council, Christine Shoup. She's also Ward 1 representative. Painesville City Council Ward 2 representative, Katie Jenkins. City Council Ward 3 representative, Nick Augustine. Also, City Council at Large, Tom Fitzgerald. City Council at Large, Jim Fodor. And City Council at Large, Lori Donalo. And I believe we also did have Karen Lawson just join us as well. Good morning, Karen. So next, I would like to introduce some of our city staff and department leaders who are here today. If you'll please hold your applause to the end, we will have each stand briefly as we introduce them. First with us is Doug Lewis, Assistant City Manager and Community Development Director. Amanda Capel, Administrative Assistant. Kathleen Sullivan, Communications Coordinator. Lynn White, City Planner. Val Vargo, Clerk of Council. Kevin Aiken, Wastewater Superintendent. Brian Belfiore and Ryan Tiedman from Public Works. Randy Bruback, Infrastructure Director. Leanne Exum, City Engineer, and Bob Fargo, Assistant Engineer. Tom Hummel, Fire Chief. Michelle LaPuma from Public Lands, Parks and Recreations. Nick Sindrick, Painesville Municipal Court Administrator. Christy McBride, Chief Deputy Clerk at Painesville Municipal Court. Jeff McHugh, our Electric Superintendent. Deneen Schultz, Water Superintendent. Toby Burgett, Police Lieutenant. And Chris Young, HR Supervisor. And I would now like to introduce today's event sponsor, the Painesville Credit Union, and here to introduce their team is Lori Guzzi. Lori just finished up a wonderful annual awards night. It was actually amazing to see all of the members come out for that. It was well received.
Good morning. I'm Lori from Painesville Credit Union. Thanks again for allowing us to sponsor this event. I'd like to acknowledge my board chairman, Ken Takis, board member Mike Williams, and my chief operating officer, Lynn Klein. Promise this is short. Painesville Credit Union was started right here in Painesville by seven city workers in 1942. Today we serve over 4,600 members, and we're just over $30 million in assets. You do not have to live in Painesville or work in Painesville to join our credit union. Anyone in Lake County is eligible. The most common question we get is what's the difference between a credit union and a bank? Well, here's a simple comparison. We both offer sound financial services. but a credit union is owned by its members, not by stockholders. We are a financial cooperative. Everyone pulls their money together to help each other out. When we are fortunate enough to have a remarkable year as we did last year, we sat down and tried to figure out how to return the money to the members. We started with new services. We're upgrading our facilities, and we offer lower loan rates. This year, we're taking our earnings and moving all the light fixtures over to LED. We're installing automatic doors and painting the interior of the building. We're upgrading our 24-hour account phone line service, adding remote deposit capture, and adding an additional financial counselor to our staff. In addition to the improvements mentioned, we are also rebating $36,200 to our members. Each eligible member will receive an account credit, depending on how many services they have with us. We feel it's important to reward our members for being part of the credit union's success, and we want to be sure they can see the difference being a credit union member can make in their lives and in our community. I invite you to join us at Painesville Credit Union. Stop in and visit, have a cup of coffee or a water, look around and see if there's anything we can do to help you make your life a little better. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori, and thank you to those who are here today from the credit union. We appreciate your sponsorship for this event. Next, I would like to introduce our city manager, Monica Irelan Dupee. She will be presenting a brief overview of what's happening in Painesville and has left room at the end for questions and answers. Monica has been city manager of Painesville since December 2016 after almost 10 years experience under her belt serving the cities of Napoleon, Ohio, Grosse Pointe Farms, and the city of Troy, Michigan. As Painesville city manager, Monica oversees all departments and day-to-day operations within the city. And if that wasn't enough of a day job, Monica also serves on the Downtown Painesville Organization Board of Directors and volunteered with Torchlight Youth Mentoring Alliance. She is a 2018 graduate of Leadership Lake County and sits on several subcommittees for the American Municipal Power. She is also a very proud dog mom of Buster, a gorgeous German Shepherd, and she's expecting a new family member arriving this June. So please welcome City Manager Monica Irelan Dupee.
That's not a good way to start. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all for taking an active interest in the current state of the city of Painesville. I have been blessed to be the city manager for 3 years, and I look forward to continuing my service to the city. I just want to start by sending another thank you out to City Council. I serve at the pleasure of council, and they allow me and my staff quite a bit of leeway to try new things and continuously improve. So I appreciate you guys, and thank you very much. I also want to thank my staff. You saw a handful, but there's another 200 plus employees, and together we work day and night to try to provide the best services we can for this community. So my employees are the true heroes of local government, so thank you very much. You've heard me share the vision and goals of repairing relationships and starting to work more collaboratively with our peers, our businesses, our education institutions, and all the nonprofit organizations to create a foundation for growth in the city. These relationships are necessary in the day-to-day administration of the city, as well as to position ourselves for the future that we all know Painesville can have. Guided by Council's strategic plan, we are aligning key partners to assist the city in successfully moving the community into the future. For the implementation of goal number 1, developing a framework to strengthen the leadership in the community and increase effectiveness, we partner with Lakeland Community College's Nonprofit Center for pre-onboarding and onboarding education for all of our elected officials. Since 2019 was an election year, we started by having the Nonprofit Center host an event called So You Want to Run for Office. This event allowed a description of each of the different elected officials' responsibilities, the ethics that come along with it, and the sunshine laws. Prior to the election, we also hosted a meet the staff night, where all of the candidates were welcome to come meet my staff. Each department then talked a little bit about the general services and allowed for questions so that we could answer any perception or concerns that the candidates had. This year, all of our council members were re-elected. But if they were not, we do have a standard onboarding process that includes conversations with the city manager and tours of all of the departments and facilities. The goal of this program is to shorten the learning curve that is inevitable when a new individual is elected to the position of council member. Leadership doesn't stop just at the council level. Internally, we are hosting more training for our supervisors and department heads. And in 2019, we hosted customer service training, difficult conversations, managing multiple priorities and projects, crisis communication, and then we did a one-team training. On top of all of this, each department has their local or national association which provides training and education to ensure that our staff stays on top of all the local and national events that affect Painesville. For goal number 2, increase community communications and engagement, started with hiring a full-time communications coordinator in April of 2018. In her time here, Kathleen Sullivan has updated the website, implemented a strategic social media strategy, increased our exposure through media and press releases, and led the rebranding effort in 2018. The new brand, which produced positive feedback from all of our residents, allows us to meet our goal of complete transparency. Transparency comes along with communicating police and fire issues, utility issues, as well as internal and employee communication. Under this goal, we're also addressing the negative perceptions of our community. As you heard last year, the main perceptions are bad schools, that were impoverished or dangerous, and that were old and stagnant. So armed with this data, we set out to bridge the perception with our reality. The perception of bad schools, I don't know if you guys have paid attention, but Painesville City Local Schools has actually worked diligently on the report card and has made positive progress. So congratulations to the Superintendent Josh Engelhardt and the school board for this continued progress. We're also working together to tell each other stories, and we are actively participating in the school's communication conversation. These conversations are open forums, and we make sure that there's at least one city representative at each forum. Through the dialogue, it has become clear that there are 2 very distinct silos in our community. Those who are very interested in the school, and those who are very interested in the city as a whole. And by breaking down those barriers, we can become a stronger community. Perception number 2, impoverished and dangerous. I'm just going to hit the dangerous point this morning. So the statistics you're looking at here are the 2019 comparison to our 5-year average. Many of the areas of concern in this chart are actually down in comparison to our 5-year average. There are a few that are up, and those are due to proactive police work. We do 3 times as many traffic stops today than we used to. With this, we have led to more warrant arrests and drug possession charges. I know many in Lake County feel that murders are rampant in Painesville, so let's check that data. The city had 1 murder every year in the last 5 years. The chart you're looking at is twofold. The chart on the left shows Painesville in comparison to communities with similar demographics. As you can see, we are 62% below the average for murders per 1,000 residents comparatively. And we are also 20% below average for murders per 1,000 residents compared to the entire state of Ohio. This chart on the right is compared to large and small communities in the area. Some are known for crime, while others are quiet, upper middle class communities. Compared to these communities, Painesville is 66% below the average for murders per 1,000 residents. Those who do these horrific crimes in our community are investigated thoroughly, and cases are turned over for prosecution. Our Detective Bureau works tirelessly to bring justice to the families and friends of those who are lost. Even though you may not hear updates on these cases, that does not mean the case is closed. Our detectives turn over every rock so that when the case is turned over to the prosecutor can get a solid conviction. Oh, I guess I'm done.
Time for your scheduled restart.
Phew. Okay. In 2019, the voters of Painesville graciously provided us funding for the police department through a police levy. Thank you for your vote of confidence, and we look forward to continuing to make Painesville a safer place to live, work, and play. The levy will allow us to put crime cameras up in key locations throughout our community. We have hired Burgess & Nyepel, a local engineering firm, to work on the feasibility study for where the cameras should be located, and the installation is slated for fall of 2020. The police levy allowed the city to work with the school district to hire a second school resource officer. The relationship with our SROs build with our children and the families are invaluable. It has helped break down barriers between our minority community and our police department. It has brought a better flow of communication within our community. The levy will allow the city to contribute to the cost of a full-time SRO, but the majority of the cost will be paid for by the school district. So thank you for investing in our children and our community. The levy will allow the city to hire 3 new police officers in 2021. These officers will increase our visibility and allow for multimodal patrol in our downtown. This will help with that perception of impoverished and dangerous. The levy also allows us to continue our high level of training for our officers. Painesville has quickly become a leader in providing high-level training opportunities for regional police forces. With the help of our friends at Lake Erie College, we have been able to host training from crisis communication all the way to FBI leadership training. So thank you, Lake Erie College. The perception of old and stagnant. We are not stagnant here in Painesville. We have 40 individual events, including 17 farmers markets, 17 car cruises, and 8 gazebo concerts. Our recreation department hosts most of these events, along with the Downtown Painesville organization and Painesville Community Improvement Corporation. On top of that, our school districts, both the Painesville City local schools and Riverside, host events. There is always something to do in Painesville. And we're not old, we're historic. The National Registry for Historic Places has been a goal for the Downtown Painesville organization for the last 3 years. They went after 25 acres of land in our downtown, shared 45 contributing buildings, 1 contributing park, and 1 contributing monument. It has passed the state level and is now on the way to the National Registry. Goal number 3, to strengthen infrastructure to support the city's mission, remains the #1 priority of our council. In 2019, we did this long list of road projects, and in 2020, the Lake County Commissioners have graciously granted the City of Painesville over $97,000 to help with road projects. We are so appreciative of the one-time grant and would like to thank our county commissioners. Outside of large road projects, we also do street and road maintenance. We are responsible for 125 lane miles of road. In 2019, we put approximately 79 tons of coal patch and 268 tons of asphalt on our roads. This is actually down 27% from 2018. This is thanks to all of the road improvements we've been doing in the community. We've also placed approximately 4,500 pounds of crack seal on city roads. We did Richmond Street, Sterling Lot, Prospect, and all of our utility openings. Cracked steel prevents water infiltration and increases the longevity of our roads. In 2019, we saw an increase in our water rates. Since we are a nonprofit, we base our rates on the cost to provide the service. The City of Painesville has not increased water rates since 2011, while costs have gone up significantly. The city has been in compliance with all of the state and federal drinking standards, and we get high marks on our consumer confidence report from the Ohio EPA, but capital infrastructure suffered, both at the plant and in the distribution system, due to lack of funding. So in 2019, council approved a rate increase. Even with the increase over the next 5 years, we are still at or below average for water rates in the state of Ohio. The electric infrastructure will see a lot of improvements in 2020, but I do want to touch on a few. In April, we will be given the designation of gold level RP3. RP3 is a national designation given by the American Public Power Association. Only 270 of the 2,000 public power utilities get this designation. It is based on reliability, safety, workforce development, and system improvement. They get this designation every 3 years, so hopefully with the improvements I talk about in a moment, we'll move from gold to diamond in the next 3 years. We will be adding smart meters to our electric infrastructure in 2020. The meters have been purchased and we'll start our communication campaign soon. The AMI project will help us enhance customer service, reduce electricity loss and theft, and improve our operating system. Alongside that, we'll be replacing our utility and finance system within the City of Painesville. This will help improve operations, streamline our process, and provide better customer service to our residents and customers. Goal number 4, future growth. In 2019, we finally passed a Unified Development Code. The Unified Development Code takes the zoning regulations and subdivision regulations and combines it into one unified code. This is a foundation for construction standards and protecting the city from poor quality construction into the future. We also did corridor improvement guidelines for thoroughfares throughout the city. This helps the future developers to better understand our expectations for landscaping, lighting, and other decorative elements prior to them removing old structures and building new. I have Chipotle on here as an example. So when Chipotle originally provided renderings, they wanted the top, which was roasted red, metal panels, and charcoal aluminum and metal storefronts. We went back to them and asked for brick elements, more lighting, and more neutral natural colors. We wanted a patio up front to start mirroring the corridor image that we are looking for. And on the bottom, they came back and generously worked with us to meet those guidelines. In 2020, we will be spending a lot of time in our community with focus groups to talk about the future of Painesville. In the past, it is past time that we rewrite our comprehensive plan and establish what Painesville of the future will be. The comprehensive plan is the document that provides the vision that captures and articulates desires of community goals and is based on community attitudes and preferences. This helps guide decisions by council and staff to be made in the context of long-term community goals and objectives. Our current document was refreshed in 2006, but it has not been completely rewritten since 1993. It is critical for community planning and development that a comprehensive plan is current, and that is why we're doing it in 2020. In 2019, there were some great developments. Weaver Meats expanded their facility on Fountain Avenue, adding several new areas of refrigeration and preparation. This expansion was due to their continued growth in exclusive markets. They anticipate hiring more employees in the coming year. Aerofluid Regulators added 30,000 square feet expansion to their current facility. They project adding 40 new jobs and a payroll of $2.3 million by December of 2021. Encore Estates is an estimated 169 new single-family homes off of Jackson near Heisley Park. The developer's in the audience, and he told me this morning we already have 16 homes sold, and that Ryan Homes believes it's one of the fastest growing selling areas that they're doing right now. So it's great news. Emerald Point is a new cluster development of single-family homes behind Skinner Avenue. And Clover Development is a market-rate senior housing building near Encore Estates off of Jackson. And the most exciting thing to most people in this room is that Victoria Place is now under new ownership. Renewed Partners LLC is in the process of doing a redevelopment plan for the building. The project will be mixed use, and I believe the entire community is excited to see your plans. Thank you. Earlier this month, HGTV announced a national contest called the Hometown Takeover. For those who are not familiar, Hometown is a TV series starring husband and wife team who restore historic and rundown homes in Laurel, Mississippi. They are looking to do a small town takeover where they make over homes, businesses, parks, and Main Street area in a small single town. Hundreds, if not thousands of towns have been submitting their application, but a special group of Painesville people have worked hard to get our submission in. While they are not sharing this video publicly on social media yet, it was too good not to share with you. A big thank you to our contributors, Bill Smith, Tara Carlson, Joy Severa, Jim Blask, Mike Carswell, and Lynn White. But a special thank you to Chaz Irish, who is our videographer, and Kathleen Sullivan as our project lead, for making this project happen. I know you'll be blown away as much as I was with the finished product.
Greetings from the city of Painesville. We are a charming historic town of 20,000 people, founded in the year 1800. Painesville is the county seat of beautiful Lake County, Ohio, and is located along the magnificent Grand River, roughly 30 miles northeast of Cleveland, and 2 miles from the shores of Lake Erie. Painesville is home to multiple historic districts, Lake Erie College, and a dynamic historic downtown. The city is named after General Edward Payne, who served in the Revolutionary War and settled in the area shortly thereafter. From the 1860s through the 1950s, Painesville was a booming metropolis that rivaled Cleveland. Urban renewal in the 70s saw many old buildings destroyed, and with the rise of malls and box stores, many people flocked to newer suburbs. Despite the ups and downs, Painesville people are a proud group.
I can't think of any reason why you wouldn't want to be in Painesville.
Well, that it still has a small town atmosphere. People know everybody. It's just a nice town.
The city embraces its long history of diversity, both culturally and by age. It's what makes us a little different than other small towns. We're 32% Hispanic and 13% African American, which represents the United States as a whole, a microcosm of the country.
Since like the last 25 years, it's been a lot of immigrants coming over to the city because Painesville is such a nice city and it's very welcoming to every ethnicity, and we just found Painesville to be our home.
And while many communities have aging populations, Painesville is getting younger. Our median age is just 32, with young families finding the city's low cost of living and proximity to the lake a perfect fit. And while the rest of the country seems to be in social and political turmoil, Painesville is special. We coexist, we respect our neighbors, and we help each other when we can. The diversity of the housing stock and unique character of the homes is unmatched in Ohio. Our Main Street area is waiting for its chance to thrive again. We would love to see artwork on these walls that reflect the city's unique personality and bring some of the local storefronts to life. With 13 city parks, we are a green city as well, in so many ways. So come visit us. Take a stroll in Painesville Square. Spend an afternoon at the beach or catch a baseball game in Rec Park. The bones are here. The people are here. We just need a little help, a little love, and a little elbow grease to make the city shine again.
So now that all the scheduled stuff is out of the way, what kind of questions do we have about Painesville? I answered them all. Perfect. I do just want to add that there's a lot more going on in the community. I just didn't want to do a 150-slide presentation this morning. But as you can see, we have 4 solid goals. We're working hard to implement them. I have an amazing staff and the most supportive council. So we're going to keep moving forward, and we're going to keep doing good things in Painesville. Linda.
Thanks for taking my question, Monica. Any update on the old hospital property or the old Harvey property?
Sure. So the old hospital property, as we said last year, we went out for an RFP. We narrowed it down to 2 developers. We are still in development agreement conversations. The reason it's taking longer than the community wants and that we want is because we want the right product there. We want it to be a long-term, sustainable product that will stay within our community, is something we can be proud of for a long time. So it's taking a little bit longer than we had hoped. The Harvey property is owned by Lake Erie College, and their plans are still to do dormitories on that site at some point. So I'll let Brian answer that afterwards.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you all for joining us once again for I apologize. Thank you for joining us once again for the State of the City. I do want to give a great big thank you and shout out once again to Painesville Credit Union for their support and sponsorship of today's meeting. And as always, I have to give Carol a great big thank you as well for her hospitality here at the Steele Mansion. And we do have at your table, there's a 2020 events guide, so if you would, please take that with you, mark your calendars. We would absolutely love to see you out at this year's events. We have some awesome events planned all summer long, so please stop out and have a wonderful day. Enjoy your morning.